So Nielsen is developing or they have developed a new metric for determining how big streaming is. They say it's an apples to apples.
Did you see this, Glenn?
No.
Oh, you'll find this very, very, very interesting. Go ahead. I thought this was great. Go ahead, Jeff.
So they're saying it's going to be an apples to apples comparison on a percentage basis of how many people are streaming movies and shows on their TVs versus how many are watching, traditional cable or broadcast channels. And they're calling this the gauge. And what they got so far with the data that they've put out, streaming is gaining, but the numbers aren't what you've been led to believe, obviously.
Right, of
and
course.
You guys have talked about this for years.
Let me take a wild guess. Is streaming like 10% more of the audience?
No.
Okay, keep going.
No.
I don't know. Okay, I don't even know
what they reported is 64% of the time American people are using their TV sets watching cable and network TV the old-fashioned way. 64%. 26% of the time is watching streaming services, and 9% of the time was spent using their TV for things like for things that were saved on the DVR or video games.
Right. Like
they're putting the streaming share is rapidly increasing. It was at 20% last year, 14% 2 years ago. So it's up right now to 26%. They're estimating 33% by the end of the year. But this is what's interesting to me, the most interesting thing. The streaming leaders, YouTube and Netflix, they each have 6% of total TV time. That they're leading with 6% of total time as the streaming services. Hulu has 3%, Amazon has 2%, and Disney has 1% of the total viewing time.
This is exactly the case. So this is why the networks are overpaying for content that has built-in audiences. But what it's showing is that if the networks don't put on good television, people are going to watch the shows on the streaming services if they are better television.
That's it.
It's a common sense. Like this is, and as Netflix is starting to produce, I keep asking people, give me some good shows today. Nobody can name a show on regular TV. No, nobody says anything on regular TV. Everything's either on Netflix or it's on Amazon Prime or says, that's where the good content is. 5-6 years ago, what are the good shows today? Sons of Anarchy, Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, just a bevy of good shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as shows have the quality of shows have deteriorated, now at the rate, because this is where wrestling has been. It's been lucky to kind of fudge the numbers and deliver a false narrative, right? Because whatever the type of product that wrestling has delivered for the past 15 years has just been declining. Every year we talked about it. Even when we first started doing this show 5-6 years ago, I used to say like the wrestling declines 10% every year. We go forward, it's like that every single year because you just looked at the 5, 6, 7 years before, and you looked at 5, 6, 7 years forward. It was a very simplistic formula, right? But then all of a sudden, as TV viewership went down, as the shows stopped their run, got quickly canceled, the quality became worse. Now all of a sudden TV ratings are going down like wrestling. So now wrestling is married with TV because there's no good TV in this little downward series, there's no good shows. And somebody says like, oh, everything's down. It's like, yeah, but wrestling's been down forever.
Yeah.
TV's just down in more recent history because all these good shows are not on anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and now that's why TV's declining. Now Netflix is producing better shows than you guys are. And now more people are steadily watching the streaming services. And it's just like, but everybody keeps trying to say some magic formula, like maybe wrestling hasn't lost its audience or something. They're still watching other platforms. Like, what are you talking about? The Variety article told you everything you need to know. There's no other metrics that are necessary. 80% of people that used to watch wrestling do not watch anymore. Mm-hmm. And you had a pretty good sizable chunk of people that gave you that data. Mm-hmm. And trying to pretend that like, well, they're watching, like, no, it does not count. If I follow Dolph Ziggler on Twitter, okay, and there's a clip, he takes a YouTube clip from the WWE website and posts a 17-second clip of one of his matches, and I watch that because I follow him on Twitter. It says 17 seconds. Don't include me as, okay, part of your fan base. Because if I don't watch the show, it's like, so that doesn't, but that's what they're doing to make it sound like they have more fans.
Yeah.
You know,
and if you watch it twice, they might even count you twice.
Right.
If we're going to go by those rules, then I'm part of Jim Cornette's fan.
Because this is the whole thing. The funniest thing is they do all these metrics and numbers, and they say the demos and stuff, and all this analyzation, and the most simplistic formula is, look, you know, it's still the rating, because that's what the TV networks are paying all the rights fees for. And if you're not drawing your numbers onto the show, it's like the networks are not going to continue to give you these rights, or maybe they will. Maybe that's the funniest formula in this thing, is that Vince producing this asinine comment every week that's childish, where people are throwing toast. You got girls hypnotizing people like Dr. Visor in The One and Only with Henry Winkler's like that. They should actually do. So you said, don't lie. They should do. They should just have that character come out. Dr. Visor, the hypnotist, and just come out there, go, you know, like hypnotize the people. They might as, bro. They're trolling the fans already.
Yeah.
With this content, they might as well try that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you're putting on content like that, and your numbers are not, you know, your audience for the show is not there because they think it's a silly content. Yeah. I'd rather not watch that. That's what people are saying, and watch maybe a 2-minute clip of what happened on the show on a YouTube channel, because the show is not, you know, yeah. You're including me as a fan, but you're giving me, what is it, 180 and 300 hours, not with NXT. Wait a second. 420 hours of content each week for free on television that we want you to watch and getting paid rights fees for, and all you're going to contribute to my shows every week is a 2-minute YouTube clip? And we'll say, hey, that's great, we got fans. It's like, no, we want these fans to watch the 420 hours of content that we're paying the rights fees for. Yep. You know?
That's dead on, bro. You're dead on. What's next, Jeff?
We've been hearing for years, and it may be this way eventually. It probably will be. You know, everybody's watching streaming services. They don't watch TV anymore.
Triple H was saying that 5 years ago.
But it's 26%. You know,
well, it's 26%. 2 years ago, it was 14. 5 years, Jeff, it was probably 5, and he was talking about it back then.
Yeah. Put on better content.
Yeah.
People will watch the show. They won't watch it. They won't spend the time. The 420 minutes of product that you're delivering, that they've decided to watch none of it. A lot of these people, they decide, I'm just going to watch the streaming services. You know,
bro, you know, my wife, bro, you know, because a lot of times I'll watch baseball on TV, and then, you know, she's watching on another TV. But bro, she started watching like Downtown Abbey from scratch. She put on the first episode from scratch. Bro, she watched 6 seasons in like a day. Okay. All right, bro, let's take that comparison. Somebody puts on the very first show of Raw in 2021, the first show in January. I'm going to binge watch Raw. And they put on the first 3-hour show. Bro, how many episodes are they going to go through before they say, are you effing kidding me? How many shows are they going? Bro, I guarantee you they don't make it through the first show. That's what Glenn is saying. If the programming is good, people will watch it. Nothing has ever changed about that, and never will, ever.